welcome back to the Final Fantasy Tactics All Oracles Challenge. This is the single class challenge with all Oracles being recorded in December of 2021. We are heading over to the Thieves Fort to resolve the start the resolution of the sad saga of Wygraf's sister. It is an unfortunate storyline here, which makes Wygraf such an interesting villain. Miluda here is a fellow thief. She is a commoner. She is poor. She has a little band of miscreants here, and despite our best our best attempts to entreat her to come to an agreement to make peace with us, she is not able to do that. So they think that they are making a last stand here. And this is an interesting battle because we've got a couple of thieves there. Obviously, this being a battle with these thieves, these highwaymen, I guess, and a couple of priests. The priests are an interesting choice. There's always the female priests in this fight. And the female priests, one of them especially, can have black magic and can be really tough to deal with. This actually was not my first attempt at this fight. I did have a party wipe in the first attempt with this one, but a little bit better luck helped me in the second one here as I was building up through. So you see Delita there, swings and misses. There's really not much they can do. They pick up enough JP in a few of these battles that I can make them at least priests, and I think one of them gives me an oracle before we have to leave. But there's not a lot that they're going to do to be meaningful contributors to this fight. So the thief's going to come right on down and get in Algis's face, and that's great. I don't mind drawing enemies down to us like this. The white mage there looks like she's charging a large black spell there, so I'm not sure if it's a bolt ice fire. So that'll be on our front units there. We just have to make sure we dodge that charging area. So this is me looking to see, yep, she has the black magic ability there. That's what I was just double checking. She may always have that. In my memory, it seems like she almost always has it or always has it. And I'm just checking that one has item. Looking at Miluda's equipment and Miluda's abilities. This is just kind of a standard thing to look at to see what we have. I don't have things memorized off the top of my head. Again, I don't compare myself to speedrunners of this game who are a much more greater depth of knowledge than do I. But we'll do what we can. So I'm going to apply the Fate status to our characters, and I do it mostly as a waiting move here to kind of pull more enemies down. It also puts us in the Fate status so that our attacks will hit with a little bit more frequency, although, as I've explained before, the chance to hit on these attacks here, at least for the Oracle, takes into account both your faith and the enemy's faith. And it's actually done as a multiplier of the faith over 100 for both targets, both characters, so you and your target. So if you have really high faith but your target is very low faith, it's just going to chop it way down. And really just this reduces the penalty that your faith applies. Or I should say it eliminates the penalty because it puts your faith at 100, so that multiply is just times 1. And then the enemy's faith will be something less than 100, unless you apply faith status to them, which I have done sometimes to land attacks a little bit more reliably. Although the problem is that even landing the Pray Faith ability also has to hit the target. So your Zodiac alignment and the faith having a chance on how often you're going to land that faith ability. So this priest back here is not as dangerous for me, unless in their item they have access to soft. I don't know if they do. There's not really a way of knowing that I know of to see if they actually have access to soft and softs in their inventory. So I imagine later in this game sometime I'm going to run into a soft having enemy, and we'll have to deal with that when we get there. But later on in this game, these characters will have rods, the longer sticks that allow them to attack. I should say, yeah, the sticks rather than rods like ice rods, but the sticks allow them to attack from 2 tiles away, and they do a lot more damage. So I may not be relying on Petrify as much later in the game. And as they level up, I'm casting magic that's kind of over my level here. I use the JP scroll glitch to get access to all their spells immediately. But really, we should not be casting spells this big, this early in the game normally. So I'm casting spells that I'm not really prepared for yet. That's why my MP problems are so low. Petrify costs 16 to cast. Sleep costs 24 to cast. That's roughly 1/3 and 1/2 of my hit point or my magic points, respectively. So I'm really relying on my move MP up to try to pick up some of it when I can. But even because our MP total is so low, we're not picking up as many magic points as we will later on in this game. Later on in the game, hopefully one move will get us enough MP to cast Petrify. We'll have to really pile up the MP, or should say maybe about enough, closer to enough. So we're still hanging back here. You notice we're not getting right up into the fray here. I'm just kind of keeping my characters busy, keeping them hitting guys. I'm also semi-grinding here in this fight. That's why you're seeing some silly things like this. Doing Spell Absorb on the character. Picks up a little bit of MP. Gains her a tiny bit of MP as she goes. She costs 2 to cast it. She pulled out 5, so a net of 3 there. But we're picking up the job points and more especially the experience points from these characters before the Petrify will land there. All right, so here comes another black magic spell. It's a fire, and that was, I think Algist went down to that fire. It is good to have those guest characters around here because they will soak up a lot of those attacks. Those priests are going to be fairly low on MP pretty soon. Maybe not this one who hasn't cast any white spells yet, but the one who's cast 2 black spells already is going to be running low on MP within a couple of turns, within a couple of actions, I should say. So we've got to figure out where we need to go and where we want to concentrate our efforts. Miluda is not going to be able to be petrified. The named characters here in these kinds of quote-unquote assassination battles are they're immune to those instant death kinds of things as far as I've checked. There's no easy way to just skip them out. We're going to have to take her down with HP. And right now, at this point in the game, the only way we can really do HP damage meaningfully is with Life Drain, which does 1/4 of their max HP. Or we do have some rods. I'll be getting some rods that can do some damage with an elemental spell triggering. So, you know, swinging with an ice rod, doing minimal damage, and then hoping that an ice spell casts. That's something that we will make use of for sure in this run. I don't know if we do it in this battle, though. So Miluda is not really obliging us. I was hoping that Miluda would get herself right up into the thick of things, but she seems happy to let her minions kind of charge up and get in the action with us here, which is unfortunate because we have so few MP that if we're having to expend a lot of resources dealing with these unnamed units, these no-name units, we're not going to have the kind of gas we need to take out Miluda later to cast all of those life drains, and of course our faith status will be deleted by then. It'll go out. Shouldn't say deleted, it just expires. We can reapply it, but it gets really dangerous to reapply it once you're kind of in the battle. You notice we have moved up into position. We're now starting to get into things here. Sleep would not have been a bad choice here to try to get those 2 white mages taken out, and I don't know though with the height difference if the next unit is like 5.5, I think it might be just out of there. I think the next tile's 5.5, so we couldn't quite hit both of them, but we could maybe get the priest and Miluda. I don't know if Miluda is susceptible to sleep. Sleep is an ability that we will make a lot of good use of though, because it's quite useful for hitting multiple targets with a really good chance to land, and sleep lasts a long time. It lasts longer than the don't act of the paralyze spell. Okay, so that priest is out. So out of commission. Here's another petrify. We're hoping to land these. You can see how luck-based these fights are. That one was, I think, a 61% chance to land, and that last one missed. The priests are going to be a lot easier to hit because their faith is already quite a bit higher. There's an absorb used MP on the bolt, so for as useful as that is to soak up the MP of the bolt, that's nice. Now this is maybe crucial, maybe not, but the first character that we petrified besides that thief at the bottom was that priest that had item. I don't know if that priest had soft in her item ability list. They have to have it learned, and they'll need to have access to it for them to use it. But she got petrified, so I don't know if there's any other item havers in this fight off the top of my head here. But that could have been the only person who could have unstoned all of our petrified characters. So that could have been a crucial hit in this fight. You can see we're already too low for casting Dispel. He's got 33 MP. That's me just checking to confirm about Petrify for her. So it looks like Paralyze is good for her, and she has a pretty high chance to hit. So I'm going to try to put her in Don't Act status for a few rounds so that we can get some life drains in, maybe. And now, actually, our hit points are going to get low enough that we are going to have to worry about that. Now, so there's a very 45% chance on Petrify. I'm not really willing to, at this point, take that risk. We're going to take a move here. And we'll, it looks like we're going to take kind of a waiting move here in putting Pray Faith on another Oracle, just to maybe give a better chance at that. I still don't know my Zodiac alignments very well, so I don't know what the alignment is, but she will have the female-male alignment boost there, so she can get best compatibility to a male unit if their Zodiac stars are right, if the stars align. This video looks like it has more capture hiccups than some of my other ones. I apologize for that. I will work on that a little bit more with my capture setup. I've been noticing that in the recording of these runs, and I'm not sure what's happening. So this was a 97% don't act, so Miluta is don't acted, so she is not going to be able to break any more of our weapons, or crucially, not be able to attack us. That's going to be a good one. So now 32. That is 1/4 of her max hit points. So if we land 4 of those, that is her totally drained. And I think if we land 3, we get her close to that critical hit point range that some of these assassination battles will require to have the target warp out of the battle. Yeah, she's got 61. I'm not, and off the top of my head, I don't know how rounding works when it does 1/4 of the max. I don't know if it rounds up or down, or if it's truncated or what. I don't know. So this is Ramza just counting out 4 tiles away. This is him making sure he's going to try to be exactly 4 tiles away from Miluta and still out of harm's way from the Thieves or any other silly shenanigans, and he's going to try to life drain her. Yeah, it looks like it's rounding up because 32 will be, yeah, that'll be a good chunk more. So you got 61 left. So if we land a couple more, we should be in just fine shape. In fact, 2 more she'll be more than gone, less than 0. So there's Ramza landing 32. And here comes one more attempt at Paralyze, and that one will miss. So that one had not a huge chance, but unfortunately it's what we've got. Now Miluta is kind of tucked away down there, and this is going to be a little bit tricky because the oracles over here are a little bit hemmed in. The one on top there is not, but the one on the bottom has got to do another couple of tiles to get up and around. So I'm really hoping we can land one of these in. Spell Absorb hits at 100, and so does Life Drain. So she's going to line that up. Hopefully she can stay there. Looks like they have a good alignment, so they can hit that one. I think we're going to sync up one more. Yeah, right after this one. So we're just looking at all the different things that she can do, trying to check and see. I'm not sure what I'm checking it for. We'll just try to throw a life drain at her. We'll see if this one delivers the final blow. And Miluta is shaking. Miluta is down. Picks up a level, and that is it right there. So playing it back, playing it safe was the way to go with this fight. Getting a couple of the more dangerous characters petrified, and then putting our life drains at the target. So if you like these videos, feel free to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, make a comment, or hit me up on Twitter where I'm also active_ATE.